Hello, this is Anirban Saha and I study DKE and I'm from India. Today we are going to have a conversation with two of our alumni, Jesse and Shantan. Could you please introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Jesse Roberts. I'm originally from Ghana and I studied DKE here. I'm working now. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Shantan. I'm from India. I studied the masters in DKE and currently I'm in my PhD.
Could you tell us a bit about your graduation days, what you studied?
Back in Ghana, I studied informatics, and after which I worked for about 4 years, and then I came to do my master's here.
Okay, Shantan?
Okay, I studied electrical engineering back in India, and I worked for about 10 years as a software programmer, and then I decided to do my master's in DKE.
So it's in your case it's somewhere related, but how did you take your master's course? Define the linkage that you have between your graduation and the master's course that you did.
Okay, if I call it a linkage between the bachelor's, the bachelor's was in electrical engineering, but I worked mostly on software programming and stuff like that. And due to this advent of digital and AI thing, I found some missing links that my current skills had. And you can call this my choice of doing the master's as upskilling for meeting the requirements of the new industry and norms that are coming up with. And then I sort of moved from electrical to computer science.
And for you, Jesse?
Well, I was quite interested in data science right from a course I did in my bachelor's, which to me was quite interesting. So I had been looking for the opportunity to take it further, and I found that opportunity, I would say, here in Otto-von-Guericke. Yeah.
That's great. What are the skills that you have acquired while doing your master's study program here?
Well, I did learn some soft skills in terms of presenting my work, making sure, like, being able to defend what I've done, state the reasons why I'm doing something, and basically reason out what I'm doing and how I want to do it to people who are going to benefit from it. And aside that, when it comes to hard skills, well, I've really benefited also from some of the courses that I did here, especially with big data. Right now I'm working in a big data company, and it was very practical, very industry-wise, very, I would say, current. And yeah, these are some things which I learned that has helped me.
And Shantan?
I'll give some specific skills that I have found. For example, the current trend in the industry of exploiting this artificial intelligence in terms of those, that's a very broad area. Within that, this particular course in DKE gave me some exact insights into which areas in machine learning or search engine, for example, Google search and stuff like that, which is known as information retrieval. So those were some specific areas I were able to hone up my skills, and I did my master thesis in a company which also worked in those areas, and I could see the efforts of the collaboration between the academics and the industry getting specifically incorporated into a product and then being used by the customers. So this nice interfacing was also very, very good thing that I found as part of this course, and the opportunities of doing practicums or internships as well as master thesis in a company who is exactly working on those areas.
So during your master's, did you face any challenges and how did you overcome them?
Well, yes, there were a lot of challenges. I faced mine in the very first semester with regards to choosing the courses. In the beginning, I underestimated the workload for some of them, and really cost me in terms of grades. But after that, I think I was able to better understand what was required of me whenever I read the course requirement, and pace myself, in choosing the courses. Aside that, I think personally you also have to teach yourself or learn to take up challenges, to not just sit and be like, well, I think this course is too difficult, so I'm just going to switch. Sometimes there's a need, or there's a want, let me put it that way, the want to follow everybody else in choosing a particular course because you feel like it's good, yeah. But I think you've got to know what you want to do, what you feel like you can do, and then choose it and go for it, yeah.
Okay, in the terms of challenges, I would say if you are coming after working for quite some time in the industry, then adjusting into an academic setting, you need to come up and hone up your skills on the basics of statistics, on the basics of math, and the basics of programming. And once you are able to manage those basic skills required in these areas, the course structure is extremely flexible. For example, students can select the subjects or the lectures based on their likings in this very broad area, that which specific area they want to pursue. And you have the option of combining those subjects. And definitely to mitigate the challenges that I faced, I took help of a lot of online resources, and I also made best use of the Ubung or the tutorials that are offered as part of the lectures. So you can actually ask your practical problems during your programming, or when you're trying to solve a specific problem. That is something that you don't get in these online challenges most of the cases. So using this mix of this online and offline thing, I think I was able to mitigate and make best use of the resources.
Regarding your master thesis, how did you approach it, and when did you start preparing for it? We'll start with Jesse.
Yeah, I started preparing for it right after my third semester, and basically I consulted a lecturer who had a topic. He also happened to be my boss at work, so he gave me a series of topics, and I chose from amongst them the one that I wanted to do. But even then, I still lacked the motivation, because after reading a bit about the topic, I found out it was quite extensive. I was wondering if I could do it. And I would say that if you pick a topic, quickly find a supervisor, get to talk to a supervisor, and then have a kind of idea about how you want to proceed with it. Because it was only after that, when the supervisor broke down the steps for me, that I saw it as manageable, something I could do. But when I was just looking at it from my own perspective, I saw it as too big, and for about 6 or 7 months, I just did nothing, which is not the best move. Yeah.
Shantan?
Well, I think the motivation behind you asking this question is typically it is expected in like a research university like this, that in your master thesis you have some, or at least you try to have some scientific contribution. Now, in order to make a mark in that short time poses some challenge. So for me, I was more apprehensive on the aspect that I wanted to do something which should be usable in a certain way. So I approached a company which was sort of a research spin-off out right from the university research labs, and I found the topic interesting because I had studied parts of it during my lectures, during the courses that I had taken, till I reached the master thesis level. And I was happy in the sense because I could use those skills and try to run some experiments and do something new that haven't been tried, maybe at least in a very small scale, and directly see whether it works out for the company. So I did the master thesis in a company, but in a collaboration with the university.
Okay. What are you currently working on? Are you doing a job, or are you doing PhD?
Yeah, I'm working, like I intimated earlier, and I've been working part-time as a student for close to 2 years, but I started working full-time in November, and yeah, it's been interesting.
And I am currently full-time sort of working on my PhD right after my master's, and I take help of, I assist the professors in taking the exercises for machine learning, and I'm also looking for a nice challenging to formulate a problem that can be solved in the course of the next 3 years.
Are your jobs related to your master thesis?
Well, yes, for me, of course. The job was directly after a class in big data, which I think got a job offer from the professor who also had a company, and yeah, it's not really directly related to my thesis, which was on machine learning, but even then I found kind of a synergy between machine learning and big data. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, it is somewhere related, but it's not exactly. But definitely parts of the thesis are related to what I'm doing right now.
Okay, one last question before we end this. How important is German language when you're at your work? And final words of advice to a new student or a current student.
I would say if the students want to stay in Germany afterwards, it's good if you learn some German, at least up to maybe B1, B2. A lot of companies require that you speak German. I just happen to be lucky found a company where the Amtssprache, the office language is English, but you'll not find that everywhere. And so it's important if you want to stay here to learn some German, some functional German.
Yeah, I would completely agree to that, and I would just add a little bit. The reason being the German economy is, even though it's export driven, if you look, there are a lot of strong local companies, and they are all interacting between themselves in German. So of course, if you're working in a company, you will find a lot of communications and official documentation and software manuals also in German.
Yeah.
So of course, it's a practical requirement that you know at least some amount of skills, even if you're socializing or you're working. So that is definitely very, very required.
Yeah.
And with that, we bring this conversation to an end. We thank you so much, Jesse, and we thank you so much, Shayantan.